Words. Words and martial arts. Sticks and stones can break my bones, right? But words can never hurt me. Levels to the game. Levels to the game. Words are the ultimate training because they are both revealing and they are prescriptive. They program every aspect of our being when we assume some sort of a goal. And the longer you live in this world, the more you're going to realize that, and the challenge it is to watch your words carefully. I screw things up at least once a day, sometimes more. Um, we all do. So here we have this ultimate force, and most of us don't think twice about it. First of all, let's talk about verbal intelligence, okay? It's an often neglected aspect of our intellect these days. We tend to focus and hone in on people who have the ability to look at mathematical and symbolic logical situations and laud them for their intelligence. Whereas verbal intelligence is just as important and maybe even more rare, okay? You really want to know how intelligent somebody is? Watch the words they use, okay? Because most people use words every day and all day. They have absolutely no understanding what they are. And you can have a great vocabulary. You can be able to pick the right word out of multiple choice, but levels to the game. At a certain level, do you really understand what words mean, okay? So, does this apply to martial arts? You bet, okay? You bet. Let's first of all talk about some words we use in the martial arts every day without thinking twice about them, okay? Style. Okay, we talk about a martial arts style, okay? What is a martial arts style, okay? Because you can take a martial arts approach, okay? You can use certain techniques. You can train a certain way. You can train to fight. You can train to protect yourself using a variety of weapons. There's all kinds of ways to describe things you can do in martial arts, but why do people talk about style? What does style really mean? Okay? So I want you to think about some of the cultural artifacts that we use to enliven our understanding of martial arts. Okay? And you'll find that China is probably one of the biggest contributors to that. Okay? And if you look at Chinese martial arts, okay, here's what you will find. You will find that you had originally different approaches that were divided into the mother systems, okay? This is going way back, okay? And we're calling it Chinese boxing because it's more Chinese boxing than any particular lingo like Kung Fu, okay? Your original mother styles were Tai Chi, okay? Ba Gua, and Yin, okay? Xin Yi, I'm sorry. Xin Yi is straight. Bagua is circular. Tai Chi is about the transition and movement. Between those three styles encompasses all the aspects of Qi, okay, that we incorporate into our use as corporal beings when we are fighting, all right? But you don't necessarily have to use that word for it. Yang style, okay? It was used. It translates. Why style, okay? Well, first of all, what you will find is that when we stylize something, we embellish it, okay? We take it and we decorate it, okay? We stylize it. We make it our own, okay? We put fancy art on it. We wear fancy clothes when we do it, okay? And when we do our movements, we make them look like we're a martial artist, right? Okay? Style is us taking and typifying something for our use, okay? In the Chinese kinship system, you have different elements of group, okay? You never really have individuals so much. You have always in relation to others, okay? Son, daughter, father, mother, okay? Student, teacher. All imply a relationship, okay? Which all imply people contributing towards that which you practice or seek, all right? The pattern speaks to Chinese metaphysics in general, okay? If you look at many characters in China related to older things like calendars and things, there's sometimes a food bowl, okay? The food bowl is symbolic because meals were not, you were given a steak, okay? And grandma was given a steak and sister a chicken leg. Things were combined into a meal that had all elements of it and it was shared, okay? So you see how this influenced ideas in Chinese martial arts, all right? Now we come to more recent categorizations. You have things like the five animal systems, okay, the Shaolin. And again, these are all styles, okay? You have crane style, snake style, okay? Whatever the case may be. Often, people even look to things that don't really even exist and confuse the issue. So, for example, the idea of internal, external, the idea of soft and hard styles, okay? They're things that at one time or another maybe were discussed, but were never really incorporated into traditional Chinese martial arts and thinking, okay? Everything in Chinese metaphysics is a manifestation of qi, okay? In some form, in some aspect, okay? In some density. So it's kind of a foregone conclusion that maybe if you move in a softer way versus a harder way, that you're using your internal energy in a different way. It doesn't necessarily have to be pontificated upon. So when we start to look at Chinese martial arts, we will see that it's very stylized. Things are made to look a certain way. They're made to have affect, okay? Which are not necessarily related to applying these towards fighting. And when people took over this craze, and that's really what kung fu became, is it was a way for people to color their training, okay? When you walk into a boxing gym, nobody asks what style of boxing you do. Although there are some approaches in boxing. You have certain things that Mexican fighters are very good with and favor. There's a certain style, okay? There's an Olympic, amateur, etc. But it's not categorized that way. It's not exotic in the same way as when people started to look at martial arts as a way to have something to embellish, okay? Basically, people did the same thing that civilized China, okay, through Chinese society and Chinese humanist thinking. They took and embellished. They took these things and they gave them a context. So you have kung fu, which is, if you look at the word, basically it means effort. But what is that effort towards? Okay, that's the question. Okay, we'll go on to our next video now.